let's talk about Best Jeanist. He was revealed today by My Hero Meta. That's his YouTube channel name. It's My Space Hero Space Meta. Each day, UVS Games is having a different content creator reveal a character and their supporting kit. Today it was My Hero Meta with Best Jeanist. Please do not watch my video until you watch his video first. He makes a lot of really interesting points that I am not going to repeat here. Here I am going to give my snap reactions and my snap grades to each of these cards, and then I'm going to give a sample deck list with Best Jeanist, because of course as soon as you see a new character, you have to jump straight into deck building. Best Jeanist is a 7-hander, 19 health, response once per turn, discard 1 card. After an attack is blocked, add 1 attack from your rival's discard pile to their card pool. So you get to pick, but it does have to be an attack, and you have to discard a card. You can do this on defense and on offense. Response, after the second attack this turn is played, it gets +2 damage, +2 speed and damage, or -2 speed and damage. If there is a ranged card in your card pool, draw 1 card. So he gets to stay being a 7-hander, but he gets to see 9 cards over a turn cycle, or at least 8 cards over his turn only. You do have to have a ranged card in your card pool for this effect to go off. And he is on the good, death, and all symbols. This is kind of a bummer to me because there's really not a lot of ranged attack support on those symbols. I would have really liked to have seen Best Jeanist either get the chaos or the water symbols. Now that said, maybe even more support comes out in Jetburn for Best Jeanist that we haven't seen yet beyond just his kit. And there's definitely some cool tricks out there that you can use. All right, before I give my grade on Best Jeanist, let's just take a moment and appreciate this art. We have Best Jeanist, like his foot is cut off here, and he's got this like shadowing behind him. So it really looks like he is walking off of the card and straight to you. You get this like 3D effect of him coming towards you. And then the background is this denim that perfectly matches with, of course, his character. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of Best Jeanist in the show personally, but he looks pretty epic on this card. So I'm a huge fan of this art. I'm a huge fan of the layout. I think everything looks fantastic, especially the character cards. But that's enough about the card layout. But I just wanted to take a moment and appreciate that he might be the best looking character in the set, even though he might not be the strongest. I am going to go ahead and give him a B+ grade, though, because I think he's actually very strong just on his face. You are getting to see 8 cards on your turn. You are giving 1 speed to everything, basically, by stuffing their card pool. You are giving something +2/+2 once, and you get to, you get to see 8 cards. So he's giving me, like, really big Toga 1 vibes, where Toga 1 isn't, like, slamming crazy stats on her attacks, right? Only, like, +1 or -2 speed, or +1 or +2 speed. But she is getting the benefit of seeing 9 cards over a turn cycle, and Best Jeanist gets to see 9 cards over a turn cycle just like her, except only 8 cards on his turn. And he gets to give something +2/+2. I think he's a very strong character. The only thing that's going to hold Best Jeanist back is the fact that he's on the wrong symbols to really unlock his potential. So if these symbols get more ranged support for Best Jeanist, I could see him being a top 30 character in the game. But as of right now, I'll just say B+. All right, his first card we're going to talk about is his Ultra Rare. And you can tell it's an Ultra Rare because of this white border with the, but you can still tell it's attack with this little fading here with the orange color. And we get a 4-low 3. This attack gains throw is the combo enhance, and the combo is ranged. So it is a double combo. We've seen quite a few cards like this. Is it Blood Moon Rending? Is the weapon, what's his name? Now I can't remember his name. Stain. It's the weapon Stain combo. We have like Focus Attack for the Kendo mid attack combo. And so double combos are always really hard to go off of. And this one is no different, and it's going to gain throw. Might not seem like much because it's only 3 damage. But if we read the bottom enhance, discard 1 card from your rival's card pool. This attack gets +X damage. X equals the discarded card's printed difficulty. So this is pretty much always going to be a 4-low 8, or 4-low 9, or 4-low 7. So it's definitely a well-statted card, right? If we think back to what's a strong card stat-wise. It's 3 stats per difficulty. So if we're giving this 5 damage, it's going to be 4 low 8. That's 12 stats added together, divided by 4 is 3. It's definitely an A tier card from a stat perspective, but it is, you know, giving all of your future attacks -1 speed, like pseudo -1 speed, because you're clearing your rival's card pool, which is a bummer. And then the combo enhance, I'm really not into this combo enhance personally, and there's a few different reasons why. Throw is great if it's like a poke attack, but this isn't a poke because you're comboing it off of 2 attacks. So you're really selling out for this. Now remember, Best Jeanist is really squishy. He's only 19 health. So if you make 1 misplay as Best Jeanist, you are going to die. You get really strong defense, but 1 misplay and you're dead. And so playing 3 attacks in a turn is very, very aggressive. You're not going to have a lot of attacks to block with. If you're playing 3 attacks in a turn, it's very likely that you have either drawn a lot of cards or you are going for a lethal attack string. And so I would really like this throw. I wish it was just combo ranged and wasn't a double combo. We don't see a lot of double combo cards really take off because it's such a hard requirement to meet. And then also, if you're playing this as your finisher, normally, like, you don't want them blocking anyway. So throw's not a big deal. You really want to be dealing full damage, you know, getting it to 8 damage and then getting it all through. So throw doesn't feel great as a finisher. This isn't a poke attack, so it's not going to be getting you momentum early in the game. I really dislike this combo enhance personally. I think the bottom enhance is very cool, and so because it's got decent stats, I can't, you know, it's a 4 diff with decent stats, so I can't say it's bad. I'm going to give it a B-. I can't put it in the C tier because of its stats, but the combo enhance is definitely lacking to me. All right, next we have his rare attack, Stylish Threads, and it is a 4 diff, 4 mid 5, so decent stats, but not, you know, not anything crazy. It says, this attack cannot be blocked by copies of cards in your rival's card pool, which works really well with Jeanist, since you could, like, put their best, you know, their Breaker 2 block in their card pool, and then now they can't Breaker 2 you. You know, they can't use their Ice Storm or their Naval Laser Beam on you, as long as you put one in their card pool. And then it has this incredible Deadlock enhance. Add 2 cards from your rival's discard pile to their card pool. This is huge because the way a lot of players are going to play against Best Jeanist is they're just going to take their time and build up their foundations. The mistake against Best Jeanist would be swinging early because he's going to stuff your card pool, you're going to commit yourself out, and then he's going to kill you on the backswing. But if you just take your time and get a solid foundation base, all you have to deal is 19 damage, which shouldn't be too difficult. You know, he's not giving everything -2 speed and erasing your character like Eraserhead. So, you know, he's very killable, and you just have to take your time. So Best Jeanist is going to need these really strong Deadlock enhances like this one. Add 2 cards from rival's discard pile to their card pool. Incredible. And it's got Powerful 3 to boot. I like this card. I'm not in love with it because, you know, if they're not in Deadlock, this is just a 4 diff, 4 mid 5 with a very meh ability. Late in the game, it's incredible. Early in the game, it's really, really lacking. So I'm going to hit this with a C+. I don't really see myself playing a lot of this card in him. All right, next we got a 5 diff, Fiber Capture. 3 high 6. Enhance. If this attack is blocked by a non-attack card, your next attack gets stunned too. Interesting. So basically, like, what would you say, 33% of the time you're getting stunned to your next attack. A lot of times they just won't block. A lot of times they'll block with an attack. Enhance. Discard 1 momentum. Add 1 rival momentum to their card pool face up. And then it has EX2 and ranged. I really don't like this card. I think it's cool, and I think it had potential. But maybe it was play tested and then it was nerfed based on the play testing. But personally, this is just not doing it for me. You know, why couldn't we have just said stun 2? It's already understated. You know, we're not even getting 2 stats per difficulty. This is really cool. But why do we have to give it the cost of discard 1 momentum? So now you're discarding momentum and your rival's discarding momentum. But of course, that's going to make it a pseudo 4/6, which is decent stats and +1 speed, everything else. But it comes with the momentum cost. And I just think there's better things that you could be spending your momentum on rather than, you know, this is going to be a serious opportunity cost to the cards that you could have been playing instead of it. I think this didn't really need I mean, I guess that would be crazy, but that's fine. What's wrong with having a strong attack? I'm just not into this. I'm going to give it a C tier. Probably won't overplay it. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. I just got back this weekend from my sister's wedding. It was an amazing time, but I definitely caught a sickness or a virus while I was there. So I sound terrible and look terrible. I had a terrible coughing fit, and I just didn't want to put that on the video. But we are moving on, going forward. Stylus Strike, 4 diff, 3 high 4. If this attack is not blocked, draw 2 cards, and it's a 2 low block. Pro Hero Enhanced, the damage of this attack cannot be reduced below printed. That's kind of funny since it's a 4, it's a 4 damage attack, so that's pretty much like a nonsense enhance. It's something though, you might as well call it out. But we always like drawing 2 cards. I think this is a really good card in Best Jeanist because it can work as an opener to force your rival to block. So that way you can use your Best Jeanist response and stuff to card pool. And it works later in an attack string because they're probably not going to be blocking it after 2 cards are in their card pool. Now you're forcing them to block it on 5 speed. And they're going to have to really commit some resources to block it, or you're going to be drawing 2 cards. So I'm going to give this a B tier. It's got decent stats, not great. But drawing 2 cards is always great. And I think you can probably actually get that effect off more than you think in Best Jeanist. All right, 2 diff Foundation, always cool. This card cannot leave the card pool during the combat phase, and that's because of this enhance. Add this card to your card pool, build the top 2 cards of your deck. So, if you're on a lethal attack string and you just need 1 more attack to win the game, add this in, build 2. It's basically like it was -1 difficulty. Or if you're defending and you're not going to be blocking anymore, go ahead and add this and build 2, and then you can be a little more aggressive on your next turn. It really helps with, you're on the good symbol, so you always get hardened jab, where you could be picking up an attack. So it's not nothing. I don't think it's amazing, though. I think it just is. And then response destroy after an attack is played. Its damage cannot be modified. I think this is very, very powerful. They play their Detroit Smash, and it's going to be their big move, and you just say, nope, you are not making that bigger than 6 damage. Or they play Indiscriminate Shock, and you just say, nope, it's going to stay 5 damage. Or Tongue Whip, it's going to stay 4. It's not going to go up to 8. Yeah, and then the other big thing is that I think it's the first ranged foundation, which is very, very big. And it's got Taunt. So you can block with this as a low block on defense. And then you get to draw the 1 when you use your Best Jeanist bottom response. Or you can just add it to your card pool and then use the Best Jeanist bottom response. I'm going to give this a B+. I definitely see this card finding play in Best Jeanist and probably elsewhere as well, but definitely in Best Jeanist. All right, another 2 diff Foundation, this time a 3 mid block. Response, flip, before your end phase, add 1 ranged card from your card pool to your hand. Pro Hero response, playable while committed. Flip, after you discard 1 or more cards due to a rival effect, draw 1 card. That's fine. You're basically playing it for the top response, which is also fine, but it's a 2 difficulty Foundation with a 3 mid block. It's definitely competing for room in decks. Is flip to bring a card back into your hand really worth it? I don't think it's really going to find its way, but that's undeniably a solid response. I just think it has too high of an opportunity cost to the 2 difficulty Foundations that you could be running instead of number 3 Pro Hero. All right, next up we have a 2 difficulty Foundation, Fashion Icon, 2 mid block. Flip, change this attack speed to the printed speed of an attack in your rival's card pool. Most of the time this is basically a reset on defense. You can put in a 3 speed attack, so it flips and goes to 3 speed. We see Encouraging Training Partner finding quite a bit of play, where it's flip and return it back to 4 speed. So I also see this finding play. I don't think it's an amazing card, though. Maybe it's more played on the death symbol, where it doesn't have a lot of resets available to it, other than what's that one? It's a 3 diff Foundation. So if you don't want to be playing that 3 diff Foundation, you can go ahead and play this, and it's a nice speed reset. And but I mean, you don't have nearly as much control as you do if you're Best Jeanist, if you're playing a different character. Finally, we have the 1 difficulty Foundation, Styling Bakugo, 3 high block. Commit, your ranged attack is +1 damage. If it's not blocked, add the top card of your rival's discard pile to their card pool. I think this is fine. but I don't see it finding play at all. I just think there's better one diffs that you could be playing on all three of these symbols, committing to get 1 damage, and then they're just going to block it anyway. So basically, this did nothing, except you could say, well, no, I got to use my best Jeanist response. Okay, but I don't want to have to commit a foundation to get to use my top character response, especially when, you know, I want to string out and get a lethal attack string. So I really don't like this card. I don't think it's going to see play. Maybe if it had like freezer burn symbols, then you could play freezer burn as your opener, commit it, give it +1 damage, and then ready something, and now you're going to force them to block freezer burn. But again, best Jeanist is not on the same symbols as Todoroki's attacks, which is a big sad, you know. But he's on the wrong symbols, and so he's on the right symbols for his character, but he's on the wrong symbols to be strong as a character and strong as a kid. And so I don't see styling Bakugo finding play. Finally, guys, I have the deck list that I built for Best Jeanist today. Of course, this is a very rough draft. I have never actually played a game with this deck. The character was just revealed today. But it's on the good symbol. We are running through Command Pigeon Flock, a ranged attack. This is going to allow us to build in an ally foundation, like raiding the villain's hideout or friend of animals. Raiding the villain hideout answers the fundamental question of Best Jeanist, which is, I know how I can annoy people and survive. How do I actually kill people? And raiding the villain hideout, giving everything 2 damage, is a good place to start. And we are going to have lots of cards to discard because we're playing Rejuvenating Smash, which if you play it as your second card in Best Jeanist is going to draw you 3. We have Stylus Strike to draw cards, and we have Specialized Sound Waves as long as we have a momentum, which we can get the momentum off of Rejuvenating Smash, right? Or a lot of people just are going to be taking the damage of our first attack so that we can't use Best Jeanist response at the very beginning. So we're probably going to have quite a bit of momentum throughout the game. Specialized Sound Waves is really cool when you use it as Best Jeanist's second attack because this is a response. So you're going to make Sound Waves a 6 high for 5. And guess what? You can use Specialized Sound Waves to stack your deck with 2 cards from your discard pile, draw 1 with Specialized Sound Waves, then respond with Best Jeanist, and draw another card. So you get to draw 2 cards with Sound Waves, and you get to draw them out of your discard and not just randomly off the top. Basically, 2 attacks guaranteed. Take your pick of what you need that turn to win the game. Very, very cool because the response window for both the attack and the character are at the same time, so you get to choose the order in which they resolve. Then I'm also playing some punches like Back Alley Haymaker, of course, building in, and a stun strategy feels like it would be really nice in Best Jeanist because we are already forcing our rival to really commit themselves out on their turn and then really commit themselves out as they block our attacks because we're giving +1 to all progressive difficulty. So adding on stun on top of that feels really strong. We also get Wind Up Punch, which is going to stun too because it just says, have you discarded a card this combat phase? Also, it's going to be a 4-diff attack because they're going to want to build up their foundation base to play against Best Jeanist. So it's going to be a 4-diff, 4 mid 7 with powerful 3 that stuns 2. Feels very, very strong. And of course, we have Cannon Blast as a finisher, ranged attack. You can get this up to 11 damage by itself, 13 damage with the Raiding the Villain's Hideout, and they're just not going to be blocking it. I'm playing 4 copies of Capture Evildoers to get the momentum for Specialized Sound Waves. And of course, we have momentum for EX on these 2 punches and powerful on Wind Up. And it can do a card pool clear. So we can stuff our rival's card pool with, cards, and then we'll be clearing our own. Feels very nice. Also, Airy Smiles feels nice in Best Jeanist. Since we are going to be, we can block with it and then say, I'm going to block with this. Now I'm going to stuff your card pool with 1, and you're not going to be able to play an attack next. You have to play a asset or foundation, and so now you're going to have 3 cards in your card pool. Feels very nice. I suppose you could also put like a Futures now to get an extra +2/+2 on like a finishing Cannon Blast and make it not so hard to play, like on a 9 difficulty or an 8 difficulty. But I didn't put it here. I've got Best Jeanist's foundation here, always cool. We can either use it to build or as a reset. I'm using this instead of You're So Obvious. Basically serves the same function, and it's a better low block, and it checks a 5, and also can possibly build 2. On the attacks, I am running 1 calorie counter and 1 Stylus threads. I love having 1 calorie counter, especially in Best Jeanist, where now if they block, like if they block Stylus Strike, not only do you get to use Jeanist response, but you're also going to hit them with a calorie counter, and you're really going to punish them blocking. And then Stylus threads I threw in purely for the deadlock. You know, it's only a one of because we can always get it with specialized sound waves and then draw it when we need it when they're in deadlock. So it's only there for the deadlock enhance because I think Best Jeanist needs some really good deadlock abilities. Other than that, it's really your typical good deck. We have a few Lost in Thoughts for board control, cheerleaders. It's probably my favorite foundation on the good symbol, giving everything flash. Nice try with new training method. Self-sacks, big three, destined, manually passionate guy. Resistance feels kind of cool in Best Jeanist because you can commit it. Say your next attack is -2 damage. If you used it on the first attack, then you're saying their next attack is going to get -4 damage, and then you don't even have to waste resources to block that attack a good amount of the time. It's also nice stun hate, and it's breaker 1. And then, of course, we've got our 0 diffs. You're finished for the deadlock enhance primarily, keeping Area safe, and it can't be fixed. And that's going to round it out. My one worry about this list is that there's not quite enough deadlock. But other than that, I could see this list being very, very strong. And this was my initial impression. Let me know what you think of this list. What changes would you make? Do you feel like I left anything out or could be playing a different style? I did not make a list on the all symbol or the death symbol. Those, of course, get snack time, which I feel like would be really strong in Best Jeanist. But I didn't see the attacks that I wanted. And as soon as I saw Command Pigeon Flock and Specialized Sound Waves, it was like, yes, we've got to be running the deck through these 2 cards. And you get Cannon Blast to boot. So this is my list, and that's Best Jeanist. I am really looking forward to playing this character and testing out this list. I think his kit as a whole is pretty meh. I didn't put anything in the A tier. Everything's in the B and C tier. So I'm not excited about the kit. I feel like he could have been designed a little stronger. But I think as a character, he reads very strong on face, and I think there's a lot of potential. So, you know, give him 2 or 3 sets, or maybe he gets some really nice support from other characters in Jetburn, and I think one day this character could be really strong. As of right now, he feels like I could take him to locals and possibly win locals, but I probably wouldn't be taking him to a regional license exam. But this is where I'm at with Best Jeanist. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you have not seen it, go watch the reveal of Best Jeanist and his kit for My Hero Meta.